What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Creatine, and before we get into today's video, I would just like to give you guys a huge apology for not uploading for almost like 3 weeks. I've just been dealing with a lot of personal issues, but yeah, I'm back and I'm gonna be uploading pretty regularly again. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, let's just get into today's story time. So to give you guys some background information for the story, this one's from about like 2 years ago when I was in 10th grade, and when I was a 10th grader, I took a class called plant biology where you would essentially just learn about like the life of plants and photosynthesis and just stuff like that. And the way that plant biology worked at my school was it was supposed to be a class for only 11th and 12th graders, but because of the fact that a teacher had retired after the year beforehand, a class got like taken out of the curriculum that a bunch of the 10th graders, including myself, had requested to take. So we all just kind of got shoved into the plant biology class. Like we had well over 25 kids, I think, in that class, and I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of interesting characters in this class, to say the least. And honestly, that's just kind of how we ended up with this story. So let's just get into it. So on this day I woke up, it was a pretty normal morning. I got in the shower, made myself some breakfast, then just kind of walked myself over to school and waited for plant bio to start, because plant bio was my first class of the day. And after I'd gotten there, more and more people just kind of started to file into class at this point. And there's a lot of people that I've spoken about on this channel who were in this class. Like my one buddy Mitch from the Ouija board story was in there, my friend Isaiah, Max, the dude who was high at football practice in the one story I told. I don't remember what I called him, but he's important to this story, so we're just gonna call him Ben. And then my one other friend who I had been close with since we were in like kindergarten, who we'll just call Devin, was also in this class. Like it was a very interesting group of people I had like some lore with. And after everyone had gotten there, we kind of just did the Pledge of Allegiance and just started class. And already within like the first 5 minutes or so of class, we were supposed to be doing notes, and nobody's doing anything that the teacher is asking of us, which, to begin with, we had like an older teacher who was teaching this class, and she was also retiring like after this year and wasn't really good at enforcing the rules to begin with, so she didn't exactly care what anyone would do. She would yell at people from time to time and essentially just tell you to do your work, but she wouldn't exactly like make you fucking do anything. So majority of this class is not paying attention to notes, not filling it out. Like they're passing their vapes around, she's not noticing, or just not caring in general, or they're just staring blankly into space. And I'm sitting here actually trying to like take notes, because this was when I actually cared about school, and I just hear a loud knock on the classroom door, and I look up from my little note packet, and this dude Ben, the guy who showed up high at practice, he came in late to school, which is what he would do like 99% of the time. He would just come in late, high as all holy hell, and just not pay attention majority of the school day. And this was one of those days. He came in, he handed in the late pass to the teacher, and we'll just call the teacher Mrs. Yeah, we'll call her Mrs. Johnson. So Mrs. Johnson takes his pass, he goes and he sits down, and Ben sat in like the row of tables directly in front of me with my one friend who I think I said we're going to call Devin. And both of them next to each other was a devious lineup because neither of them did anything or paid attention, like, ever. They were the two like kids that would stay off topic the entire class and get the entire class off topic. And so now we're all kind of just like sitting here as a class listening to Miss Johnson like explain the origins of why water lilies are all different fucking colors. And Ben kind of just starts being obnoxious. Like you can tell that he's very clearly inebriated by something, and Devin took full advantage and just started screwing with him, like poking at him, cracking jokes toward him, and now they're both kind of just like being obnoxious and just disrupting class. And at this point, nobody's really paying attention to like notes or Miss Johnson anymore. And me and like the four other people who would leave homeroom early to go to our tech classes, which I think I brought that up to you guys before, that I would leave homeroom like 15 minutes early in 10th grade to go to culinary. But yeah, like we were all getting ready to go over to the tech building, and Miss Johnson is starting to get really aggravated with Ben and Devin at this point. And Miss Johnson essentially walks up to Ben and Devin's table, and she just starts going at Ben for the fact that he shouldn't be like coming in late and causing problems for everyone else in class and making it so they couldn't pay attention. And mind you, I'm like sitting here, literally the table behind them, front row seat to everything, just packing up all my shit. And eventually, like, Devin starts like egging on the conversation and just fucking with Ben again while Miss Johnson's talking to him. And eventually, Devin says something along the lines of, "Yeah, you dumbass," to Ben, and Mrs. Johnson just turns around, looks at Devin, goes, "Don't you say that," cocks back her arm and punches him in the fucking arm. And everybody who watched this happen, including me, was just in shock watching Miss Johnson punch Devin. Because, mind you, she was like the sweetest lady up to this point, like the entire year. And Devin immediately, after being hit by the teacher, responds with, "Did you just hit me?" And proceeded to just start like freaking out. And Miss Johnson immediately like goes into apology mode. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I didn't mean to do that, like are you okay?" And Devin's just freaking the hell out, like he doesn't care. And he eventually just storms out of the classroom to, like, I only assume can go down to the office. And by this point in time, me and the other people who were ready to go to like the tech building for our classes just dipped at this point and didn't want to deal with plant bio anymore at this point. And that's not where this ends either. So on my way down to the tech building for culinary, I took it upon myself to go to Snapchat, and I posted to my story, "Justice for Devin," because I was an immature high schooler. That's what we fucking do. And yeah, I proceeded to go on into culinary after that. I walked in there. My culinary teacher walked up to me, asked me how my day was, and I proceeded to explain to him, my homeroom teacher punched a student today, so it was pretty interesting, and he essentially asked me about the situation. I gave him the rundown, and I don't know how far along we were, like, into culinary at this point, but I ended up, like, with one of the, I think, office people down, like, in the tech building, and they came down to, like, look for me to take me down to the office to go talk to the principals, and I wasn't, like, sure as to why at the time, but sure enough, I get down to the office. I'm sitting in the little waiting room for like 5 minutes in my little chef outfit for culinary because we had to wear an entire uniform, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, I'm sitting out there. Sure enough, I get like called into the office by the principals, and I go and sit down. And what do you guys think they called me down for? Yeah, it was about Miss Johnson punching Devin. I'd gotten in there. The principal, who we'll just call Mr. Dick, started talking to me, and he's like, "Do you know why I called you down?" And I was like, "I think I have a pretty good idea." He's like, "Yeah, Devin came down here, told me Miss Johnson had punched him during class today over something that had happened. He said that you had posted something on your Snapchat story about it, so I figured you may have seen some things, and I wanted to talk to you, maybe ask what you saw." And I just gave him the rundown on the situation, that Ben and Devin were being a little disruptive during class. Miss Johnson punched Devin. And yeah, I just straight up told him what I saw. I felt a little bad for Miss Johnson, I'm not going to lie, because that plant bio class that I was in made her life hell the entire, like, last year before her retirement. So did feel a little bad, but just don't be punching students. And yeah, I essentially just explained to him what all I saw. He's like, "Okay, like, thank you for letting me know." And I proceeded to just go back to culinary from there. And from there, I kind of just went about my day from normal. And then the day after that, I actually ended up finding out that Miss Johnson got suspended from teaching for a good little bit. I wasn't exactly sure as to when she was going to come back. I just knew it was probably going to be a good couple weeks. And yeah, nobody, like, also believed the fact that Miss Johnson punched Devin either. Like, I had people, like, come up to me because they knew I was in the class, ask me what happened. I was like, yeah, Miss Johnson punched Devin. And they're like, "Oh, no, she would never do that." I was like, I watched the whole thing happen. I was right there in, like, front of the whole situation, and just nobody wanted to believe the situation actually happened for some reason. But yeah, pretty interesting school story time for you guys today. And if you like today's story time, drop a like, comment some other story time ideas you guys might want to see for a future video. And also, if you're new, you should definitely subscribe to the channel. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.